Welcome back, class. I'm Mr. Teacher with the SAT Math video guide, and today we will be starting section 5 of test number 2. It's also a math section, as you know this guide is for just the SAT Math. Plus, one more thing I wanted to add, if you would like me to do any other part of the test, like critical reading or writing, or any separate question that's boggling you in the SAT study guide, then you can let me know and I'll do that problem out for you, whether it's math or English. So anyways, let's get started on number 1. So if 3x equals to 0, what is the value of 1 plus x squared? So let's quickly write this out. If 3x is equal to 0, then what is the value of 1 plus x squared? Well, let's just plug the 0 into these two. So we get 1 plus 0 plus 0, because x squared is also 0. That just gives us 1. And that's choice B. So simple enough. It was just the first problem. There's more coming. So let's move on to number 2, which is the diameter of circle A is 3 times the diameter of circle B. So let's draw out these circles right now. This is circle A. That's the first time I ever drew a circle perfectly. And this is circle B. So it says the diameter of circle A, which is this distance here, is 3 times the diameter of circle B, which is distance here. Let's call the diameter of circle B x. So 3 times x will be just 3x. So it asks, what is the ratio of the radius of circle A to the radius of circle B? Now, keyword radius, it's just there to confuse you, because it's still going to be exactly the same whether you use diameter or not. So so what's half of 3x? Because half of diameter is the radius. Half of 3x is 1.5x. This is the first part of our ratio. The second part is x. X divided by 2 is x over 2, or 0.5x. If you multiply both sides by 10, you cancel out the decimal and you just get 15x is equal to 5x. Then you cancel out the variable and you get 15 not equal to is proportionate to 5, and you simplify these with common factor 5, so 3 and 1. So the ratio of the radius of circle A to the radius of circle B is 3 to 1, which is choice E. So we got that down. Let's move on to the next problem. Number 3. Nice cyan color, I believe that's called. Anyways, n is a set of numbers whose average is 3. M is a set that is generated by doubling each number in n. What is the average of the numbers in set M? Well, so first, what's the first thing? N is a set of numbers whose average is equal to 3. So let's think of odd set of numbers that will satisfy this part. So how about 2, 3, 4? If you add all of these together, you will get 5, 9. And then if you divide it by 3, because there are 3 terms, you get 3. So this set works, 2, 3, and 4. Now, back to the problem itself. So set n, set M is a set that is generated by doubling each number of set n. So all these numbers here. Anyways, that was an awkward pause there, but so what is set M going to consist of? Well, it's going to consist of a 4, 6, and 8. So it asks, what is the average of the numbers in set M? So if you want to do out the math, you could just add it together. So 6 plus 8 is 14, plus 4 is 18. Then we're going to divide it by 3 because there are 3 terms. This equals to 6. Or if you have that intuition, you could tell that 6 is the middle number and these are an odd set of numbers. So 6 must be the average. So the answer is choice D. So next problem is number 4, which is, if P, R, and T are digits in the positive 3-digit integer PRT. So there are 3 separate digits, P, R, and T, and they make up the number PRT, which is a positive number and an integer. So no decimals yet. But, so what is the decimal equivalent of PRT times 10 to the power of negative 2? So the negative 2 here is going to put off a couple of students, but in reality, when you raise any number, especially 10, let's just work with 10. If you raise 10 to any negative power, you're just going to create a decimal point. The decimal point right now is over here. Minus 2 is going to cause it to move 2 spaces to the left. So it's going to go 1, and then it's going to come back. It's going to go 2 spaces, so it'll become 0.10. So in the case of PRT, what's going to happen is, at the moment, the decimal is over here, times 10 to the negative 2, which is 0.01, I believe. 0.10, 0.1, yeah. Okay, it's a bit confusing. So you're going to move the decimal 1 space to the left, and you're going to move it another space to the left. So that means the answer is choice C. So next problem, let's see if we can squeeze one more in. And number 5, which says, if K plus N is less than K, which of the following must be true? And they give us choices. A says K is greater than 0. B says K is equal to 0. C says K is less than 0. D says N is greater than 0. And E says N is less than 0. Okay. So what we're going to have to do now is we're just going to test these out. So let's start with A. K is greater than 0. If K is greater than 0, then N must be a negative number. If K is positive and it's greater, so yeah, positive, then N must be negative. But that's not stated in the answer choice itself, so this is crossed off. Now let's try choice B. K is equal to 0. If K is equal to 0, then N must also, well, not also, must also be negative, just like the previous choice, but it doesn't explicitly state that. So that's also crossed off. Choice C says K must be less than 0. If K is less than 0, so it's a negative sign, then it's really impossible for N to add N to K and still let it be less than K, in which case N would have to be negative. But yet again, it doesn't state that. It's not saying that N is less than 0 in the answer choice, so that's crossed off. Now, the next one is a bit more interesting. N is greater than 0. If N is greater than 0, then it's simply not possible. If N is greater than 0, it's simply not possible, whether K is a negative number, whether it's a positive number, or whether even if it's 0. Because you're always going to be adding a little bit more, and that's going to increase the value, so that's crossed off. Choice E is N is less than 0, and we know this is the answer, so you can circle it right now, but let's still go over it. If N, let's rewrite that equation, it's been scribbled on so much. Okay. If N is less than 0, no matter what value k is, whether it's positive or negative or even 0, if you add a negative number to it, it will be less than the original value itself. So we know that must be true no matter what else the conditions of the rest of the equation may be. So there's answer to number 5. So I believe I've ran out of time, so I will end the video here. If I haven't ran out of time, oh well, I'll try to keep track of time a bit better. But either way, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.